Hello friends, this is a video about making your own motorcycle decals from my experience. To get it out of the way, I'm not gonna be talking about designing. There are lots of videos about this on the YouTube, where you're probably watching this one right now. And I'm not gonna be talking about manufacturing the decals, because I'm not really sure it's possible without special equipment. Of course, you can always print it out on paper and duct tape it to your bike, but I'd rather you didn't. The sole purpose of this video is to let you know that creating vector file of your motorcycle plastics in CorelDRAW is not impossible or even that hard for someone who never ever worked in this program before. I will show you my method of measuring, creating and adjusting your motorcycle decal parts on one example. But first, let's understand to whom it might be useful and why. I can think a few reasons why this might come in handy. First, you have rare motorcycle and cannot find decals from any manufacturer. Second, probably most important for me, it gives you ability to design graphics to your desire. I don't really want basic color schemes that are offered by manufacturers, even though some might be quite nice. And to design something by myself, I need the ability to play around with different objects. Must say that being non-designer and have absolutely no experience in drawing things gets some restriction, but for me, I like to keep things simple, and that's just enough. Third reason might be cost. Manufacturers create their own decals and they design graphics, and of course they have to profit from it. So ordering your kit from printing agency of you choosing with your vector file is gonna save you quite a lot of money. Also, considering ordering a new set of graphics for the same bike in a few years, those savings start to add up, but probably still not the main reason. And lastly, maybe you already have some kind of EPS or CDR file on your possession of your motorcycle decals, but you want to adjust some elements. I will also show you how. Now, let's get to my bike. I was lucky enough to get started with an EPS file for TC model. Huge shout out to SMR511 community on Facebook. I really appreciate all the help guys provide for each other, and if for some reason you have such a bike and you're still not a member, well, you should join. A lot of information about our bikes can be found there. So having this EPS or CDR, doesn't matter, file got me started, but since it was for the cross version, few elements had to be adjusted. Also, it was missing some elements that I would like to see in design, and that brought me to this. To create vector object in CDR of your decal element will require you to have some tools. First of all, you will need some writing paper. Second, pen or pencil, a ruler, a printer, pair of scissors, and of course some kind of CDR CorelDRAW program. This is the element I'm gonna be working with. First step, if the piece of plastic you're working with is quite long, like this side plastic here right now, the good idea is to break it into smaller pieces, like this one, broken into two pieces. The second step, you establish key points on your element. On every edge, you have to make a key point. Third step is measurement. We don't need to make it perfect from our first attempt, but our goal is to make it as close to the original piece as possible. I created the lines and I noted all the measurements that we will have to take for this particular piece. So first of all, as I said, we need our key points. It's going to be from each side, obviously, and we'll need these measurements and these measurements to establish our key points according to this line, for example. So this is going to be my point of reference. It is a good idea always to take some kind of straight line and work your way around from there. So instance, in my CDR program, if I want to know where I have to put this point here, I have to measure this side, how far it goes on the left from this point, and how far it goes down from the same point, obviously. So after all this is done on the paper, you'll have something like this. The shape is not exact, it's not particularly great, but I have all my measurements, and we move into the CorelDRAW. Here, of course, first thing, open a new file, create a new file, gonna call it test1 just for now. None of the settings actually do matter. The size is gonna be important when you're gonna give it to manufacturers, probably A0 or A1, depending on how much space your decals require. If you're not using the metric system, you can choose whatever you want here, and the primary color mode should leave it in SMYK, because That's the most common they use. And click OK. In the document itself, first thing, going to View, Grid, and click on the document grid. This will allow you to see all the small squares. They will help you to measure your object easier. 2 squares is 1 centimeter, just like at school. On the top side and left side you can see a ruler. They go both way, to the right, to the left, to the bottom and to the top, and in the middle where the zeros cross is the dead center of the document, and it's a good idea always to start your object from the zeros because it's again easier to measure. Next, what we need to do is go here in this bottom right corner, click on the small triangle and select Base Tool. Base Tool will allow you to create an object of any size and shape that you require. Our first key point is going to be in the middle in the zeros. Next one, 1 centimeter to the right, half below, so it's going to be here. Already a line appears. The next one goes from the 0, half centimeter below and 14 centimeters to the right, so 14 is here, half centimeter is here, and we click here. Next one is gonna be 9.3 centimeters to the right, 10.3 sorry, and 2.5 below, so it's gonna be here. Another one, 4.3 and 2.2 is gonna be here. Next one, 8 centimeters from the 0 below and straight on the 0, so it's gonna be here. Another one goes from the 0 already to the left, 11.8 and 14 centimeters below, 11.8 and 14, this is this one. And the last one on the 0 and all the way 39 to the left, so it's about 0. And to finish our object, we just connect 2 dots to our dead center, and here it is. So this is how easily it can be done. This is how fast and easy the object can be created. Now, before we move any further, it's always a good idea to double check the side, because we know that this how long is this side, we know how long is this side. So to adjust our object right here, we have to measure each side. How do we do it? Yes, we can always rotate it on the straight line and see with the ruler how long it is, but there is a simpler way without moving any object. Our object, we have to go here and select the parallel dimensional tool. This will allow you to create a line from one node. If you hold and drag it and then drop it on the node, it will allow you to create this kind of line, which will show you how long your line is. So here it's 306 millimeters, so it's just a bit below than 31 centimeters that's actually required. And this one, for instance, should be 5 centimeters, probably gonna be off as well. Yeah, it's quite off, but it's okay, it doesn't matter for now, I'm just showing you how it can be done. The next thing, when you've printed out the object, you've taken it back to your motorcycle, you've seen where you have problems, you understand how you have to adjust this node, for instance, you have to move it a little bit. How do you move it here? First of all, you click on the object to select it, then you double click on the object, and all those blue lines with all your nodes, your key points appear. If you hold on the node, select it first, and then left click and hold it, you can drag it wherever you want, wherever you need it to be. So this is how you can adjust your object once you've established new measurements. The next thing what we want to do is, when our object is complete, we want all these pointy edges to become a little curves, and maybe we want a curve here because it was on the plastic itself. How do we do it? We have to select the node, right click on the node and select to curve. This will allow us to create a curve with these 2 small arrows. We can drag them as we want and see if we can align them just perfectly to make the curve that we require. We have to also make curve here, for instance, so dragging them a little bit to the top. This probably makes a quite nice curve. Well, it's not exactly what we're looking for, but it's okay for now. And the really easy way to make your end edge curve is to put two nodes on each side. So right click on the line and add node here, right click on another line, add node here, then we go to the H node, H key point, and we make it to curve, and without adjusting it, without even touching it, we just have to delete it. And this is how easily it can be done. The program just does it for you. If you're not satisfied with the result, of course you can always click on those nodes and you can drag and drop those arrows as you please, but basically it's kind of okay, quite almost. So this is how it can be done. Now when we've done our object, we're gonna print it, get back to our bike and see how we've done for the first time. So I've printed out the piece we've been working on and I've put it on the motorcycle, and as you can see here, my measurements were incorrect, but we've got our goal. We've made the shape of our object as close as possible. From now on we can see where we have the problems, we can measure our key points again, we can understand where we have to and how we have to move them, and as I showed you in the previous video, we know how to do it. The process of adjusting them in CorelDRAW and printing the pieces out, putting them back, measuring them again, adjusting them in CorelDRAW, depending on complexity of the object, can take some time, but in the end you should have the perfect piece you've been working on. When all is well and done and you are satisfied with the shape of your object, you can move into designing the graphics for your motorcycle and see what you come up with. Before you go into making all of your objects in CorelDRAW, I must warn you that making them all from scratch is quite tedious and time-consuming process. You have been warned. The 3 tips I can give you that I came up with while working on this project. First one, if you have A4 printer in your disposal at home, or better yet at work, because it's free, you don't have to print out this object as a whole piece. You can break it out in smaller parts and print them out like that. It might be a bit harder to align them, but it can save you some time and money, because going to some printing agency to print A1, the bigger scale file, is not always easy to do. But I do strongly recommend that you at least once in the end, when you are happy, pretty much happy with the shape of an object, you print it out in full scale, so you'll just be sure that everything is aligned just perfectly. I must also note that printing out the full scale of your graphics before ordering them in printing agency is a very good idea. My first design version for this motorcycle in CDR looked quite good. In reality, it didn't. The last advantage I must note for all those people with drawing abilities: printing these white pieces of paper and sticking them onto your motorcycle gives you ability to draw right on your bike. Have fun creating! I hope this video was helpful for you, and maybe it will give you the ability to finally make the decals for your motorcycle, because I was thinking about the ability to make it for my own bike, but as I said, I wanted my own design, and I had no idea how to put my thoughts into other people's minds to make it possible. On eBay, for instance, the designs they offer, they are limited because you can't really change them. They have some color schemes, as I said, some of them are, yes, quite nice, but I don't really like it to be so plain and basic, like everybody have them, and they have those sponsor logos everywhere, which I also don't require, because I obviously don't have any sponsors. Fuck, do you want them there? And the mainly only things that they allow you to change are the number plates and maybe some few basic colors here and there, and that's not enough for me. I wanted my design to be just mine and have elements that I've created for myself. So that's the reason for it here. If you would be so kind, I don't need you to subscribe, don't even need you to like the video. I mean, but if you could comment in the video if you had some problems with understanding or creating your decals, I would be gladly to help you, and it would be give me some nice feedback, which I really require, since this is my first ever video that I actually created with the purpose of making it for YouTube. And for all the Husqvarna SMR511 TE and all the bikes with the same plastics, I will be uploading the file to the Facebook page as soon as I'm finished with adjusting it all, and as soon as I will print out my decals, because I want to make sure that it's absolutely correct before giving it out to all other people for use. So of course it's gonna be free. So wait for it on the Facebook page. If you're not a member yet, sign up, and thanks for watching. Goodbye!